welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, yesterday, that's Tuesday, was a day of records and milestones on the D Street. Fresh highs on both the Sensex, the Nifty Bank and the Nifty Midcap Index were also seen. Remember, the Nifty also climbed above 26,011, which will be the new intraday high level that we will be referring to now. And also the Sensex went past 85,000 mark as well. And of course, the Nifty has taken about 38 sessions for this latest 1,000 point rally from 25,000 to 26,000. Although towards the end of the session, we did see some selling pressure emerge in the final few minutes of trade. And after scaling that 26,000 mark, the Nifty fell almost 70 points from those highs as well. Now, today again will be the monthly expiry of the Nifty Bank Index, and that index has also been something that we will be watching out for, as we have been doing for the last few trading sessions as well. Remains to be seen that buoyed by the overnight Wall Street cues and the morning Asian cues, will we be able to surge past 26,011, or will we see some more consolidation at these peaks as well? Good morning to all our viewers and good morning to Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are smack in the middle of the week on Wednesday. It's 25th. We are on the monthly expiry of the Bank Nifty, which has added 2,700 points over the last 19 trading sessions and has gone up by 5.7% to a fresh record. It remains to be seen whether the momentum will be carried forward into October. Most probably yes, given the cues that you are seeing and the fact that the relative valuation of private sector banks that comprise a major chunk of the Bank Nifty is far lower than the rest of the market, as also the fact that the Bank Nifty has a lot of catching up to do with the broader markets. I'll just give you one statistics year to date, that is in the 9 months that have lapsed. The Nifty is up 19%, the Nifty Bank is up just 11.5%. So this gap has to narrow down. The leadership will now be taken up by Bank Nifty, given the 50 basis point cut that you have seen on Wall Street 2 weeks ago, and the fact that something similar is likely to happen once the Reserve Bank of India reconvenes its credit policy meet later 2 months from now. Now let's see what the markets are likely to be. As Sakshi points out, cues coming in from overseas are very strong. You have a record high on the Dow and the S&P 500. There is green across Asia, and most likely we are going to reflect that. Every single drop in the market is being purchased into. Every gap up is either sustained or you see an intraday high beyond that once the 2:30 session starts. Now, what do you need to do, ladies and gentlemen? I believe that Nifty will now enter into a consolidative phase. We've seen the index, rise about 1,000 points from 25,000 to 26,000 is a time of just 19 trading sessions, 29 days. August 25th was when the index crossed over above 25,000, and September 24th was when it hit an intraday high above 26,000. So 26,000 is the new battle between bears and bulls, and this is a space which will be dominated by private sector banks, by metal stocks, by auto companies, and of course the PSUs that make up the Nifty. Now let's analyze each of them individually. Sakshi, just a point, I'm going to ask you a trick question once my commentary closes, so I'll request you to pay a little attention more than usual. Ladies and gentlemen, a seminal event, a major event will happen in October in the primary markets. Hyundai will get listed. This is the second largest auto player, and an offer for sale of 25,000 crore rupees, India's largest ever primary offering, will come into the market, and this is what is going to be looked forward to. Therefore, you need to keep an eye out on Maruti, you need to keep an eye out on Tata Motors. These are the listed passenger vehicle markets stocks in India, and they will have a green tick till the time the IPO is flagged off. So keep these two stocks in mind. Of course, we'll be paying attention to all gold financing and all gold stocks such as Senco, Tata, Sky Gold, Thangamile, and so many of them, because gold futures are at a fresh record high. $26.83 an ounce. They've surged 6.2% over the past month, and the rally continues unabated. What else is on the record as far as government PSUs are concerned? There is a risk on trade here. Rotation of money happening from expensive sectors into beaten down counters. Therefore, you see sharp upticks coming in ONGC, Oil India, NLC India, the entire metal pack which moved yesterday, Hind Copper, Steel Authority, NMDC, National Aluminium, and so many other government metal companies. So this is the broader theme. And one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, I suggest that you look into a very nice structured ETF that is pointed towards the Nifty for the coming 8, 10, 12 months. The mood is likely to be buoyant. Now, Sakshi, are you ready for my trick question?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, Hyundai, in its lifetime of 30 years spent in India, has had just one brand ambassador. Who is that person?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have great pride in telling everybody that I am an IPO investor in Maruti, purchased at 125 rupees. It is at 12,400 today, a 100 bagger in a span of probably 20 years. Hyundai is something that I will be watching on the first day of listing. I will buy a tracking quantity because IPOs are now, overpriced. Not those lovely days where you can get them very cheaply. So that is what my game plan is, and Sakshi is absolutely right. The finest Khan that there is, Shah Rukh, is the brand ambassador of Hyundai, and the only one that they've had so far. Sakshi.
Absolutely, and it is going to be the largest ever IPO. In fact, we were the first, remember viewers, to tell you about the Hyundai IPO coming in during Diwali. This was 6 months back, and I will pull out that video that we had done for you. And we were the absolute first ones in the business realm to tell you that this is the biggest IPO that you should be keeping an eye out on, and therefore auto space is something that you should be really looking at. So that's finally happened. SEBI has cleared the IPO. We will be looking at further details, and Business Today Television will be getting you all the key details on the upcoming Hyundai IPO and how you could be probably getting that chance to invest in this one as well. So stay tuned for all of those details. Overnight, we've actually seen Wall Street indices, Dow Jones and S&P 500 continue to post record highs, like Shail's pointed out. Dow Jones finished 0.2% higher, S&P 500 about 0.25% up in trade. Nasdaq Composite ended about 0.5% higher in trade. Asian shares gained for a fifth day as the rally sparked by support measures from Beijing continued. Remember, Nikkei was up about flattish with a positive bias in the early morning trading session. We've also seen that the ASX 200 was up by about 0.08%, and when we look at the Kospi, that was up 0.3% in the early morning trade. Hang Seng is the one that's been actually moving sharply, 2.8% higher. The Shanghai Composite up by 2% as well. So that's as far as the Asian market cues are concerned. The GIFT Nifty is absolutely flat, indicating an opening at 25,923 odd levels. That could be just a 0.02% downtick. So a flattish start. We'll have to see how it goes forward from here. Remember, it's the global geopolitical tensions in the Middle East that will also be very closely watched. An Israeli airstrike on Beirut has also killed a senior Hezbollah commander on Tuesday, as cross-border rocket attacks by both sides have increased the fears of a full-fledged war in West Asia too. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that one as well. Apart from this, what we've also seen in the Asian markets, I forgot to mention, is that Chinese yuan has strengthened to 6.9 levels to the US dollar. That's the highest level in 16 months. So keep an eye out on the Chinese market, also really looking at, because of the stimulus packages, the way the country as well as the regulators are now making an effort to stem the losses within the economy that they've been seeing, and also probably put it back onto the positive growth radar as well. FPIs offloaded stocks yesterday, remember viewers. They have sold worth about 2,784 odd crore rupees in shares, and this is despite the record high moves that you saw yesterday. Domestic institutional investors, they stayed net buyers for the second session. They purchased equities worth about 3,868 odd crore rupees as as well. Let's look at the stocks then. MCX, the company has revised transaction fees on futures and options contract effective October 1st. The futures contract will see a transaction fee of 2.1 rupees per lakh of turnover's value. For options contracts, 41.8 rupees per lakh of premium turnover value will be looked at. HDFC Life Insurance Company in focus. The company has approved raising of 2,000 crores via NCDs. Delta Corp is something that I'm looking at. The company has approved the demerger and listing of hospitality and the real estate business into Delta Penland. Shareholders could actually look at receiving 1 share of Delta Penland for every share of Delta Corp held. Keep an eye out on that too. Tata Power will be in focus. Of fire incident has occurred in the control room at the Trombay plant. No injuries or loss of life have been reported. However, the company is in the process of assessing the actual damage caused by the fire too. Mazagon Dock will be in focus. The company commenced the production activity for the first multi-purpose cargo vessel for Navi Merchants, Denmark today. So keep an eye out on that too. PC Jewelers, remember the gems and the jewelry space has been in focus, and PC Jewelers for so many days consecutively hit 5% upper circuits too. The board is going to be now considering a stock split, and that could happen on September 30th. Keep an eye out on that. KEC International, the company has opened a QIP and set the floor price at 976 rupees per share. Solar Industries, the company has received NCLT's nod for the merger of Rajasthan Explosives with the unit Emol Tech Private Limited as well. Gillette will also be in focus. Remember, PNG Bangladesh has terminated the distribution agreement effective 31st of December, and the company will have to now see the impact of the proportionate drop in the net sales, as the net sales under the agreement actually accounted for 2% of the net total sales for the company. Easy Trip Planners will be in focus. Here the promoter Nishant Pitti has, according to some of the reports that we are getting, planned to sell up to 8.5% stake in the company through block deals valued at 622 crore rupees. Indicative price of the transaction is said to be about 41.5 rupees per share, which is slightly higher than yesterday's closing price too. So that's something that you should be looking at. So those are some of the stocks that Shell I'm looking at today.
8:45 a.m. ladies and gentlemen, we'll be speaking to Mr. Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President for Geojit Financial Services, and of course Kiran Jani, Head of Technical Research at JNM Broking, also joins us. To you Gaurang, नमस्कार, स्वागत है आपका. बहुत दिनों बाद आपके दर्शन हुए और ज़बरदस्त मोमेंटम दलाल स्ट्रीट पर, और साथ ही साथ एक बहुत ही बढ़िया खबर, Hyundai का ऑफर फॉर सेल 25,000 करोड़ रुपए का आता हुआ दिखेगा. कोई ऐसी यादें जो मारुति के आईपीओ से जुड़ी हुई आपकी?
तो एक ऐड आती थी Hyundai की. धन्यवाद शैल भाई आपको, और आप सभी को प्रणाम और शुभ प्रभात हमारे तरफ से. तो जब नई नई सैंट्रो लॉन्च हुई थी Hyundai की तरफ से, तो मेरे ख्याल से वो जिंग करके एक ऐड था, सैंट्रो जिंग. अब मुझे ठीक से याद नहीं है, काफी सालों पहले ये ऐड आई थी. और जो Hyundai सैंट्रो का मॉडल था तब और आज का जो मॉडल है, आज तो मेरे ख्याल से बिल्कुल ओझल हो गई है वो गाड़ी. अब तो आप सिर्फ क्रेटा और उसके ऊपर की बातें करते हैं. तो एक पर्टिकुलर वो गाड़ी थी, और मेरे ख्याल से पहली पहली थी मारुति के बाद हैचबैक स्मॉल एंट्री व्हीकल Hyundai सैंट्रो. तो वो एक ऐड याद आती है. और ऑफ कोर्स जो आईपीओ का आपने जिक्र किया है 25,000 करोड़ का, मेरे ख्याल से ये एक सिर्फ भरोसा फिर से मजबूत कर देती है शैल भाई कि भारत में स्थापित जो वाहन बनाने वाली कंपनियां हैं और जो विदेशों से आई हुई कंपनियां हैं जो अभी तक लिस्ट नहीं हुई थी, अब Hyundai हो रहा है. मेरे ख्याल से बहुत जल्द किया भी इसके ऊपर विचार विमर्श करेगी. फोर्ड, मैं परसों के दिन एक रिपोर्ट पढ़ रहा था, फिर से लौट रही है भारत में. कुछ सालों पहले अपना काम समेट करके ये वापिस अपने देश लौट गई थी, और इस प्रकार से बाकी अन्य जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर वाहन बनाने वाली कंपनियां हैं ये भी प्रयास करेगी आने के लिए. और सरकार के तरफ से भी शैल, there are a lot of policies that have been put in place, and I think that day is not far away when the reality will come to us in terms of India becoming the largest manufacturing hub for the world.
Right. Very good morning to you, Gaurang ji, and good to have you with us. Of course, now I have to ask you a trick question. In the beginning, Shail asked me one trick question, and I will ask you one. I don't think it will be very difficult for you to answer that. Swiggy IPO versus Hyundai IPO, where will you take a bet?
Well, this is really a difficult one, to be very honest. So if I want to enjoy my zip drive, I will bet on Hyundai. And if I'm a kind of a person who wants to sit at home at leisure and enjoy a nice hot brunch, then I'll go for Swiggy.
Sakshi, Gaurang, and Kiranji, there is this lovely experience that's happening on Dalal Street, which says the right time to buy an IPO on Dalal Street is 6 to 10 months after the launch. This is when all the froth is over. This is when all the anchor investors have gone out. This is when 3/4 of financial data is available, and in most cases, except for rare ones, the stock is available cheaply than the IPO listing price. But it's the journey that matters, Sakshi, and we'll be talking about all of them in the months, days, and weeks ahead. Be it Swiggy, be it Hyundai, and of course. Two other IPOs from the Korean stable will also come, I'm pretty sure, which is LG and Samsung. Let us see how the Koreans look at this value expansion that's happening on Indian bourses. किरण जी नमस्कार, स्वागत है आपका। बैंक निफ्टी पर आपकी राय। किरण जी, ये प्रश्न आपके लिए था। बैंक निफ्टी आपको कैसा लगता है अक्टूबर की एक्सपायरी के लिए? सितंबर में 5.7% की वृद्धि और 2700 अंकों का इजाफा।
Okay, very good morning everyone. So overall, as you mentioned that this September months, historically we have seen that it remained negative, but this year we have seen a fantastic rally on larger time frame and also on the frontline indices. Now coming to the upcoming month for October month, RBI policy is heading in the first week of October. So definitely most of the people has factored that RBI is also supposed to cut the rate as well as Fed is also cut. So that positive tailwind is already there. But looking at the chart patterns, looking at the daily chart or a weekly chart of indices or even a stock price, we are seeing that prices are trading into the overstretched, or we can see prices are trading into the overbought territory. So we are not recommending to go long at current market price or chase any kind of a gap up at current market. Yeah, definitely stock specific movement will continue, but on larger time frame on frontline indices, we are expecting some consolidation should happen, where any dips towards like 25,500, 25,400, that's the good zone where participant can enter when participant can accumulate also. Keep a very strict stop loss of 25,200. If 25,200 is breaking down, then we can expect certain some profit booking or a time corrections is supposed to happen. Otherwise, overall, the range is something like 25,500 to 26,300. So these 800 points remain intact for the October month for the Nifty. So any dips towards 25,500, again, it's a good buy. Keep a stop loss of 25,200 for the target of 26,000, 26,300. Coming to the Bank Nifty was underperformance, but in last 1 week we have seen a fast and furious move on the Bank Nifty. So here also similar way, any dips towards 53,200 to 53,500 is the very good zone where you can accumulate. Keep a strict stop loss below 53,000, and for the October month, we are expecting range of 54,800 to 52,800. So these 2,000 points will remain the range for the October. Any dips toward 53,000, again a very good level to enter.
Okay, got it. Let me get Gaurangji also on another macro, topic which we need understanding, better as well, and that is with respect to how our neighborhood, China is now looking at a slew of stimulus packages to revive the economy. So just wanted to get a sense of now what is going to be taking place. We've seen yen surging to a 16-month high against the USD. Foreign investors yesterday pulled out despite us hitting the all-time high level as well. How are you really looking at this scenario really play out in the medium term, Gaurangji?
Sakshi, I was reading a report today that Hong Kong is planning to cut tax on liquor in a bid to revive nightlife. Now, one logical thing that a person enjoys a nightlife is the day life is also equally good enough. But the problem is totally opposite as far as Hong Kong and China is concerned. And I take each and every news that comes out of China not with a pinch of salt, but with a fist of salt. and for obvious reasons, to be very honest with you, because the credibility of the news that comes out from China is very difficult to ascertain. Not only for us, but also for the Chinese citizens who are living in China, given the kind of controlled environment that they live in. Having said that, the problem is that this is not the first time that a country is giving a stimulus. We saw continuous steps being taken by the United States of America, the so-called developed economy. Quantitative easing was also a part of that. Stimulus, etc., has been given by other countries also. It remains to be seen and gauged in terms of how much and for how long are you going to go on giving this kind of stimulus. Eventually, remember one thing, Sakshi, there is a price for everything. Nothing is free in this world. So if you are going to prolong your fiscal stimulus, or you are going to prolong your, some kind of freebies for a longer period of time, at the back of the mind, that country, that governing body, and the respective government has to remember that longer you stretch that, the higher is going to be the price that you're going to pay for it. And I think this is just initial steps. One needs to see whether actually this will result in some kind of consumption and economic growth getting at the next level on the higher side, which I believe will take time. So just wait. And there are a lot of news flows which go against all these things. For example, the real estate bubble and the number of companies that have gone bust in China, and of course other data points that come out of China. So I will take not with a pinch of salt, but with a fist of salt whatever news comes out from China, and I'll wait for the numbers to give me that kind of comfort. And how credible are those numbers is also a big question.
Fair point. Gaurang, closer home, how are you playing this gold theme? I'll request the PCI to fire the gold futures chart. Record high, $26.83 an ounce. It's the froth that is coming in from the US rate cuts that is pushing commodity prices globally, including precious metals. What attracts your attention in the Indian universe of gold stocks? Is it gold financing companies? Is it dwellers? Is it MCX? Or is it just too late to now step into the rally? What is your advice?
So before I answer that, I'll ask a question to Sakshi. I had requested her to visit her family jeweler a couple of months back. I don't know if she remembers that or not. And I had also mentioned this particular thing, Shail, that when the budget was announced, the Honorable Finance Minister cut duty on gold, silver and platinum. By the virtue of that duty cut, the gold that was trading at 74,000 rupees for 10 grams corrected to 68,000 rupees. I again screamed out of the top of my capability that go and buy gold, because this is just a correction because of a policy decision change in our country. The underlying gold prices are always driven by dollar terms, and dollar terms, my view is that $3,000 to an ounce from this current level of 2,500 or wherever dollars per ounce is. And I had mentioned to a very good friend of mine when he asked me a question, what is your outlook on gold, silver and Sensex? So I told him Sensex 1 lakh ki, gold 1 lakh ka, और चांदी 1 lakh.
Oh, wow.
This was the view I had shared some time back, and I hope I'm right on that. But to answer your question purely, Shail, if I want to invest my money keeping gold as a base, then my first thought will be that why don't I invest in gold ETFs? Why do I risk, corporate credibility and working if I have to put it gold related companies? This is just the thought process. So you have, you have gold ETFs, you have gold bonds, and you have physical gold to invest in. So, and I always have been an advocate that out of 100 rupees, if you have to invest in the market, please invest 15 to 20 rupees in gold related asset classes, may it physical gold, gold bonds, or may it gold ETFs. To answer your question, we have one name in the gems and jewelry pack, that is the tall boy in the sector, Titan Company. I think one of the gold finance companies is also in our coverage. But I would again repeat, that if I want to keep gold as a underlying security and invest in a company, then why don't I invest in gold itself, wherein I mitigate the corporate risk factor?
Absolutely, that's a brilliant one, and we will remember also you for giving us that extra zing with that 1 lakh ka Sensex silver and Sensex as well, and gold as well. So we will be looking forward to when that happens, and we will invite you on a special session when that happens. And whichever of the three looks at that one first, I'm guessing it will be silver, since that's the closest one. But we never know how the markets will be moving up. So, but that is something that we will also remember, Gaurang, for. A minute to go before 9 a.m. rates start pouring in. Kiranji, any two stocks that you'll be looking at?
So as of now, we are seeing there are multiple stocks giving a breakout. However, as we are discussing about the gold and silver, there is one stock we can look into, that is Hindustan Zinc. Yesterday we have seen there is a sharp rally in silver, and looking at international prices, there are chances that this rally can keep continue. So we are expecting a good amount of rally should happen on silver. So Hindustan Zinc has that fundamental tailwinds also. Number two, yesterday we have seen a sharp rally into the metal sector also. So there are two ways we are looking at Hindustan Zinc can perform at very good level at current market price. So one can go long at 505, 5010 at current market price. You can expect some target of 530 with a stop loss of 494. So Hindustan Zinc is our first preferred choice. Another is Tata Technology. If you look at the Tata Technology daily price chart, stock price is giving a breakout from its falling trend line. After a long time, stock price is sustaining above its 100 days moving average also. And there is a cluster resistance of 1100. Stock price is closing and sustaining above that 1100. And whatever the falls come, there is a very less amount of volume, which shows that retesting should happen sooner or later. Momentum indicator is also in bullish zone. So Tata Technology is trading somewhere around 1100. One can go long on Tata Technology for the target of 1160 with a stop loss of 180. 1080. So Tata Technology with a stop loss of 1080, one can go long.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the pre-open is upon us. A mild red tick, 127 points lower on the Nifty. 25,813 is where it is. This is likely to improve. Now, what is causing this pain? HDFC Bank, the highest weighted stock, is opening 13 rupees lower, 1755. There is a red tick on Infosys, 1880, which is 19 points lower. Reliance is also red, 20 rupees lower, 2959. And let's look at ICICI Bank. These, ladies and gentlemen, are the top 4 heaviest weighted counters on the Nifty. 35 points lower on ICICI Bank, 1282. This will improve. This is just quotes that are sort of scattered. In the green, Bajaj Finserv 10 rupees higher, 1915. In the green, SBI 4 rupees higher, 802.40. Kotak, Tata Motors and Lever are also pulling their weight up on the Nifty. Let's get into the top gainers list on the National Stock Exchange. It gladdens my heart, and because Gaurang is there, one of the finest balance sheets that I have ever read. Sundaram Finance, 1.8% higher, 5123. This is also in the green. Okay, it's going to be a metals day again. National Aluminium, 2% higher, 195.35. You have a strong move which is seen in other metal stocks as well. Vedant, 1.3% higher, 475.20. Tata Steel, NMDC, Hind Copper and Hindustan Zinc all up between 0.5% and 1%. All 20 stocks comprising the Nifty Metals Index are in the green. We'll shift focus to NSE Midcap. Union Bank, 2% higher, 130 rupees. You have Escorts, 1.1% higher, 4,400. You have Apollo Tyres, 1.2% higher, 535. A quick look into small cap, and then we'll get back to Kiranji. Okay, Sakshi, I think there is a research report on Piramal Pharma. This is the top gainer, 3.3% higher, 225. And of course, you have MCX, 1.1% higher, 59.44. This is the change in the transaction cost, which is now moving to a fixed basis of 2 rupees 10 paisa per lakh of turnover on the MCX. Needless to say, this is a record high. Kiranji, a quick one on National Aluminium.
So as we discussed about the metal sector, of course, National Aluminium is at record high, and looking at daily price chart, definitely we can go long at current market price because there was a cluster resistance was somewhere around 190, and now stock price is trading above 190. So one can go long at current market price or any dips towards 190. Keep a very strict stop loss of 184, and we can expect price target of somewhere around 210, 220 in upcoming time. So definitely one can go long on National Aluminium.
Okay, right. The report that you were talking about, Shell, is by Jefferies on Piramal Pharma. They have raised the target price to 260. They believe the management meet takeaways include the company aims to grow revenue to $2 billion with a 25% plus EBITDA margin by FY30. This implies a revenue to EBITDA CAGR of about 12.2% and 20.3% respectively. And that's despite the ongoing capex. They believe 1 times the net debt to EBITDA by FY30 from about 3.4 times in FY24. So the reduction in debt will also play a part, 3.5% higher for this one. The other one is clearly MCX, which is also important to look at. Morgan Stanley's come out with a report on target on MCX of 2950, and they believe rise in transaction fees would result in a 5% increase in FY26 estimated EPS as well. Let's get Gaurang into the conversation here. With the surge in transaction fees in the F&O space, how are you really looking at players like MCX, and what does that do to the entire F&O space as well now?
So, Sakshi, I would like to answer this question of yours on a sectorial basis rather than company specific.
Okay.
And the reason being we don't have coverage on MCX. So, if you are of an opinion that the Indian stock market and the commodity market is likely to have a very steady growth over the next 3 to 5 years or maybe more, then I think all those entities which are associated with these markets, be it equity market or commodity market, are going to do well because of the volumes that are going to go up, given the fact that you have large number of retail participation increasing month on month by new accounts being opened at brokerage level as well as depository level. So whether it is a platform provider company like a BSE or an MCX, or whether it is a service provider company like a CDSL, or whether it is an intermediary, that is brokerage firms. These companies are also likely to do well because of the volumes growth, not only at the exchange end, but if the exchange volume goes up, so the brokerages will also get benefited, and so will the depository services. There is also a likely possibility of certain changes which are going to come in to control the unnecessary, unadvisable speculation at a small retail level in terms of futures and option puts and calls. This white paper has been under discussion for a couple of months, and most likely, I think, since we are having expiry tomorrow, possibly as soon as this weekend or maybe early next month, we might have some clarity over those proposed changes that SEBI wants to bring in. We'll have to wait and watch for that. But overall, the sector looks very promising.
Fair point. 47 points still lower on the Nifty. Let's look at some other things that might interest Kiranji on the long side. I want to focus on the Nifty Bank because it's the weekly expiry. Kiranji, where do you see the strongest rollovers happening within the universe of 12 Bank Nifty stock futures?
So considering the rollover data, the large cap bank like Kotak Bank and HDFC Bank, we are seeing that some good amount of rollover data is happening. No doubt, since last 2 days, we are seeing some overstretched rally. So there are chances we can expect some price corrections towards the lower level, or we can see some price retesting also. But looking at overall price chart pattern and yesterday's rollover activity, Kotak Bank and HDFC Bank, one can keep an eye on these both the stocks.
Okay, a quick one to you, Gaurang. Kotak is showing signs of life against the backdrop of very strong sectoral tailwinds. Do you think time has now come for it to sort of shake off its 4-year sleep and come back in the reckoning of giants?
So, as a disclosure, Shail, we have been maintaining positive coverage on Kotak Mahindra Bank right from the time it had got got on at loggerheads with the regulator, and the case was in the Bombay High Court. Then the resolution out of court happened, and then of course we had the concerns on who will take charge of Mr. Uday Kotak's retirement. We found a suitable replacement over there, and now we are back to the earnings growth trajectory. So it's rather been a sideways performer when you compare large private sector banks. But like you mentioned, we believe that all the overhangs and the negatives are now in the rearview mirror. And in front of the front screen, I think you have a steady trajectory in terms of growth prospects. Uh, Possibility of it crossing over to 2020 cannot be ruled out. Approximate levels in keeping in mind the earnings that are likely to come.
Okay, and it's for the second day again, we are looking at the metal story also looking positive yet again. About a 0.8% of an uptick is what you can expect on the index. Stocks like Hindalco, JSW Steel, Coal India could again be in focus. So could also be Steel Authority, NMDC. These stocks were in the winning trend yesterday. Kiranji, your sense on this metal pack? Should one continue to chase the momentum here, and where exactly? I think you're on mute, Kiran. We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. So I definitely think that one can look into the metal sector, and you can definitely chase this rally. Reason being, there was a consolidation time, and after that consolidation, the move is coming. So overall, if you look at Hindalco, Hindustan Zinc, we already discussed. If you look at other frontliner stock like Jindal Steel and JSW Steel, those are the stocks where you can definitely keep an eye. Our preferred pick is Hindustan Zinc, so definitely you can go long on the metal sector at current market price also.
Okay. Gaurangji, do you think metals is something which is in a structural trend right now with things changing in China, especially now? Is this the space to be in, at least for the short to medium term?
So, Sakshi, this will depend upon the entire policy change that the Chinese government had towards the ferrous and non-ferrous, that is the metal universe, in terms of excess capacity, small capacity production outlets being shut down forcibly, and of course overcapacity and overproduction, which haunted the global commodity markets in terms of ferrous and non-ferrous prices. Stimulus and any kind of push that is being tried to given to the economy for revival in terms of consumption. Data points will tell us only in future, Sakshi, as to how it has worked out. The other thing is that domestically in India, governments have taken steps in terms of prohibiting any kind of dumping or any kind of unfavorable imports by certain players not benefiting the domestic players by introducing increasing custom duties as well, import duty, and as well as imposing dumping duties. So and more importantly, I think I have to look at the domestic issue, domestic triggers in form of consumption uptick. Then I think Bharat Nirman is going on at a very strong growth space uptick, various levels at center and including at state level. Real estate sector, Sakshi, is doing well, so that's a great contributor to the consumption theme as far as metals and cement is concerned. And along with that, you have corporate capex, which is long awaited, possibly now thinking of a ground level start. All these three indicators point towards very steady domestic consumption growth. And more importantly, Sakshi, I think last financial there was an overhang in terms of input cost at an elevated level, which ate into the profitability margins. That has also gone into the rearview mirror. So we expect profitability to have a better number and a better shade.
Okay, we have 3 minutes left for trade to begin on Wednesday, and this is a 40-point downtick on the Nifty in pre-open. Gaurang, coming to you, which is the latest buy report that Geojit Financial Services has offered to its clients in the mid-cap and the small-cap space?
In the mid cap and small cap, well, first of all, let me give you a view about the market that we gave out. We believe that consolidation could be the order of the day, given the kind of rally that we've seen here. But more importantly, we think that there is a lot more upside to be seen. Torrent Power is one stock. I don't know which category it belongs to, small or mid cap. But Torrent Power is one stock that amongst the power generating play that we have been positive on. And if I have to look at a similar mid to small cap name, then Indian hotels in the hospitality industry is something that we are excited about. So these are the two names that we've been extremely positive on. We have in fact come out with a revised target on the upside post quarter earnings.
Just quickly, 1 minute, Kiranji, to you. Consumer durables as a space. What will you pick here today?
So in consumer durable, we are liking Marico at current market price. If you look at the overall chart pattern, it's a double bottom pattern reversal, but we are considering as a continued pattern. So anything towards 700, 710, that the accumulation zone, keep a very strict stop loss below 690, and we can expect price target of 730, 725 in short term. So definitely Marico looks very good at current market price.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's tighten our seat belts and get ready for this wonderful roller coaster that is upon us on Wednesday. The Nifty Bank and IT index are starting on the back foot as far as pre-open trades are concerned, and we have the first quotes. Nifty down 20 points, Bank Nifty down 94 points. Remember, it's final FNO expiry for September. The IT index is flat, and the Nifty 500 is opening 31 points lower. Okay, let's look at the heavyweights. What is Reliance doing? 6 rupees 20 lower, 29.72. HDFC Bank 3 rupees 70 lower, 17.64. Infosys almost 10 rupees lower, 18.89, and ICICI Bank 2 rupees lower at 13.16. These are the four top index heavyweights which are about 40% of the Nifty, all four of them in the red. What is clicking in the green as far as Nifty is concerned? Like I said, Tata Motors, this will be the stock to watch, and the first thing that Kiranji will comment on, 979. ITC 516, this is what the stock is doing. Okay, very quickly, the top gainer in the FNO stocks is National Aluminium, 1.4% higher, 194.20. MCX taking it away, 2% higher, 59.89. Metals all the way, Vedant a percent higher, 474. Hind Copper 345 for you, a percent higher. Gold financing theme right up there, Muthoot Finance 1992, about a 0.1% higher. Metals all the way, Jindal Steel Authority, Hindalco, NMDC all up between 0.6 and 0.9%. A very quick one on NSE 500. Okay, Piramal Pharma. This is the research report that is doing wonders. This is the top gainer, up about 6.5% at 231. Amber Enterprises. This is the PLI scheme working, 3.75% higher, 4,900. And you have a smattering of stocks from the sugar space, Praj Industries in particular. Let's look at the broader market. Main indices are on the back foot, nothing to be worried about. Sakshi and I tracked 19 indices for you. Only 5 of them are in the green, led by the metals and the small cap index. Advanced decline is very weak today. 1192 stocks in the green compared with 861. Kiranji, coming to you. Tata Motors, what will you do? Is this a swing trade in the making?
Definitely Tata Motor one can look for the swing trading. Yesterday we have seen the reversal candlesticks pattern formation and the confirmation has been there. So one can go for the swing trading at current market price, 975, 970 zone. Keep a strict stop loss below 950, which is a 200 days moving average also. Momentum indicator are into the oversold territory. So definitely one can expect a bounce on Tata Motor at current market price with the stop loss of 950.
Okay, got it. Let's again see. I think it's the metal space that's been taking it away, and media stocks, small caps, and consumer durables, and slight gains in the auto space that's been holding up. But let's look at the small caps. Piramal Pharma now 6% high in trade. We were talking about this stock. Gaurangji, let us get you in within the pharma pack. How are you looking at Piramal? Is it a long-term story that one should start tracking now itself? What would you say here, and what else looks positive to you here, sir?
So the stock has been a quite a performer, Sakshi. Let's be
Yeah.
very honest. But we haven't covered Piramal Pharma from a fundamental point of view. So I won't be in a position to give a direct buy, sell, and hold. But it looks like to be a strong contender. Other than that, Sakshi, I think mid-cap pharma names have been performing quite well. So be it Glen Pharma, be it Zydus Wellness, Zydus Life, be it Natco Pharma, be it Aurobindo Pharma, Granules India. So we've been positive on all these names on the fundamental side, and I think the overhang for large cap pharma names is in terms of the Form 483 from US FDA or some kind of shortfalls in terms of production process and the viability issues. But nevertheless, companies are capable of overcoming this situation. And overall, the fact still remains that India was, is, and will always remain a pharmacy to the world.
Okay, 9:19, ladies and gentlemen. There is a bit of a red tick across the market, but nothing to be worried about. This is the same time. Let me just mark the best performing stocks from the small cap, mid cap space. For some reason, Mukta Arts is 14% higher, 93. I wonder whether this is the music theme that is playing on the Lal Street. Remember, Diljit Dosanjh and Coldplay have their concerts coming up, but this is just a guess. You have Apollo Sinduri hotels up 10%. This is after yesterday's 20% circuit. You have a strong move coming into a stock called KPI Green, 5% higher. This is the circuit that has happened, and there are no other stocks on circuits that I would like to mention on air. Ease My Trip, this is a block that has happened. It's promoters selling I think 8 percentage point equity, 7% lower at 38 rupees. You have Zomato in the green, Vedant 2.7% higher for 83, Power Grid. This is a stock that Kiranji needs to check. Kiranji, we started marking Power Grid yesterday once the market was about to close. What are the charts of Power Grid telling you at 2.4% higher, 358? Is it headed for a record high?
Yes, definitely. If you look at the power grid chart, the rounding bottom pattern breakout is there yesterday only. And today we are seeing a follow-up buying is also coming. So at current market price, risk reward ratio is not that favorable. But any dips towards 350 again, it's a very good level to enter in this particular stock. Keep a very strict stop loss below 340. And looking at overall chart, 370, 380 would be the target. So any dips towards a downside would be the great opportunity to them.
Okay, and since Shell has marked Mukta Arts, I think the reason behind the move is that this is owned by Subhash Ghai as well. So the company has inked a pact with Z Entertainment for 37 films as well, and here under the deal, Mukta Arts will receive a total consideration which is 25% higher than the previous agreement, which was already between the two companies, and the shares are already now up by about 14%. Z Entertainment is also buzzing in trade. Z Media Corp is also up by about 10% right there. Remember, the company is also looking at fundraise opportunities, and for that the company will be meeting on September 27. So this stock is also up by about 14% odd. So the Z group is in the buzz, as well as Mukta Arts, which is buzzing as well. This was just to mark as well in this space. Let's again look at what else could be really looked at in the trade today. Apart from this, within the broader markets, several other stocks are also buzzing. Remember, Delta Corp is something that I had marked early in the stocks to watch list, and here I had shared that Delta Penland is something that the company will be looking at emerging and listing separately, and that's probably looking at an uptick today, 8.5% higher. Gaurang ji, let's discuss with you. We have never discussed this stock or this space probably with you. How are you really looking at some such stories? Do you think they have a value unlocking opportunity that investors could look at? These stocks have been extremely volatile and of course always under the lens of regulators.
So the sector looks quite promising, Sakshi, given the kind of speculative nature or gambling nature that large part of people have over here. Delta Corp, other than being in Goa, I think they were planning to open up, or they've already opened up one more asset in somewhere in Sikkim, northeast. That is what I heard. I'm not too clear about whether they have gone ahead and done that or not. Second, the other overhang on the sector is gaming, that is speculative gaming. Is the GST rates and the revision, which is always a concern in terms of having a huge impact on the profitability in case if the rates tends to get changed to the next level on the higher side. Haven't covered the sector, so won't be able to comment too much on this, but there are some, forthcoming and shortcomings in the sector in terms of the new properties getting opened in terms of increasing the revenue, and on the shortfalls, one big overhang is the government policies and the tax structure in terms of GST.
Okay, a quick one on Mahindra and Mahindra. Gaurang, this should interest you. There is a new Thar in the market, and of course, auto is right up your alley. Probably a fresh record high in the making as far as charts are concerned. Gaurang, to you, a view on M&M. The year-to-date performance on M&M is an 80% uptick, and in this month alone, M&M is up 11%. 3,100 for you.
So I think a ride towards 3,500 cannot be ruled out, keeping in mind the earnings potential that M&M has. We also discussed the auto IPO at the beginning of the show, Shell, in terms of Hyundai hitting the market, etc., etc.
Yes.
And my sense is that there is great opportunity for M&M, for Tata Motors, for Maruti in terms of more appetite in terms of market share, for customers like you and me to go and have an inclination towards buying the next affordable model in the respective segment, keeping in mind the environment also, and of course in terms of export capability and capacity. And M&M, I think they've done quite well. The only drawback that I personally feel, Shell, is that M&M has got a very bad faith in terms of their success for passenger cars. I'm talking about sedans. They've tried to do that, but they have not been able to get the success that others have got. But in terms of the SUVs, various levels, entry, mid, high, ultra high, along with that commercial vehicle, and of course tractor and agri equipments, I think all of this is augured quite well for M&M.
Yeah, and Gaurang, you of all people will agree with this lovely Hindi idiom which says, "Kisi ko mukammal jahan nahi milta, kabhi zami to kabhi asman nahi milta." M&M is very happy as the top SUV player and the largest tractor maker as far as its business is concerned. Let's leave passenger vehicles and cars to Maruti, Tata Motors, and of course Hyundai. Kiranji, charts of M&M, what are they telling you?
So looking at M&M chart, the stock price was in trading into the falling channel, and it was in consolidation zone. June 2024, stock price made a high of 3,000, and from that level, stock price retested its 2,600 level, where 100 days moving average was there. Multiple bullish divergence, and from that, we are seeing in single week from 2,600 to 3,000. In fact, 3,100. So definitely, stock price, the chart price are very strong. Any dips towards 3,000 would be the great buy. Even at current market price, anyone can go long. Keep a strict stop loss below 3,000, and we can expect price target of 3,600 in upcoming time.
Okay, got it. I think More and more sectors are now seeing buying emerge from the lower levels. Power grid we should again look at 4.5% high. It's the top moving stock on the Nifty. A very strong surge at 366 odd coming in. Just yesterday, brokerage houses had also pegged at higher targets for power grid as well. So the move started yesterday right in the morning, and then it has continued even today at almost 4.5%. Kiranji, how will you look at power grid now?
So as we discussed about power grid, chasing this rally, we are a little bit cautious on as of now at current market price. Definitely, who is holding this particular stock, they can keep a very strict stop loss below 355, and we can expect, as we discussed, price target of 380, 390 in upcoming time.
Okay, got it. Well, look at broader markets then. A whole host of newer names getting added into the list of strong performers that we are seeing. Look at SH Kelkar, that Shell you had marked yesterday, and 6% higher is what the company is right now trading at. Spelect Energy Systems is another one that's also up by 6%. HEG Limited is also up by about 5 odd percent in trade today. Surana Solar is also buzzing as well. Renewable energy space again I think is going to be the theme that we have to continue discussing with Gaurang as well. Gaurang ji, if somebody really looks at renewable energy theme from a next 5-10 years perspective, what is the best way to start including some of the sector performers into the portfolios from now onwards, and probably do a SIP strategy?
So I think a lot of conventional and hydropower generating companies have also expressed their desire to have a large portion of their total capacity in terms of power generation coming in from wind and solar. So you have names like Suzlon, for example, but again, Suzlon is a little bit of high risk, high return kind of stock. So you need to have elevated risk appetite. We have fundamental coverage on Suzlon. Next one, interesting one, Sakshi, would be a power generating company which is in the news, I think yesterday and even some time back, was NTPC, because of its subsidiary Green Power coming out with some kind of offering. I think that's going to be a great trigger for NTPC also. Tata Power has also expressed their desire and will to, already they are into solar, and they want to make it big in terms of clean and green power. JSW, Torrent Power, JSW Energy, Torrent Power, and CSC. I think it's going to be a combination of all this thing. And one stock that you were discussing, you and Shail were discussing, is Power Grid.
Yeah.
Sakshi, I think this stock is going towards 450, 475. And I think over the last week or 10 days, Power Grid has been able to acquire bids of within the states and from one state to other states transmission lines and grid networks. One of them was in Rajasthan, if I'm not mistaken. And this company is also planning to go into power generation rather to be a pure power transmission distribution play.
Well, that's good news, and this is something that we had picked it really early, 350 rupees. I distinctly remember yesterday. It's a rare event, Sakshi. I don't remember ever on Nifty the top contributing stock in terms of points added being Power Grid. 15.4 points to Nifty's total of just 1 point is coming in from Power Grid, but we'll take Gaurang's word for it, and 450 is where he thinks it's headed in the long term. What would I like to mark at this point of time is IEX. Gaurang, a move coming in from the government side on trying to merge, I don't know, power exchanges. I read about it fleetingly yesterday, has somehow dropped or actually cleaned out the long trade that was happening on IEX very well. What are your thoughts on this particular stock, and what do you think is a good entry level? We know that no new power exchanges would be set up because there is one, and that's what the government thought is that let's have a single exchange for a particular commodity. Your view on IEX?
So, Shail, out of 5 people that I speak to, 3 of them ask me the question that you have asked me, that is, what's my view on IEX? And history is witness to all of us in terms of the large number of retail investors who have got stuck into this particular stock. whether it was a speculative buying and then turned into an investment, or whether it was an investment that went wrong by a wrong selection. So we don't have coverage on IEX. We have avoided this particular stock with a pure intention of it being not a wealth creator. And the policies are also sometimes which creates an overhang on the counter from the government side. So if you want to play an energy play, then why go into a company which is the platform provider for trading, if I'm not mistaken, of power? Why don't you go in for power generating companies, power transmission distribution companies? Why don't you go in for power equipment companies, something like a KEC International? I think these are some very sound and strong fundamental plays from a long-term point of view.
Absolutely. Right. We have been seeing such stunning moves on this space, and we will continue to keep an eye out on this space again going forward from here too. The other space that I wanted to draw your attention, Gaurang ji, is the oil and gas story. And I wanted to understand, with this buzz going around that probably the fuel price cuts could be happening probably sooner or later. Once that happens, what do you think could be in for the investors of oil and gas? I'm sure investors have pumped in a whole lot of money. You've talked about BPCL, HPCL and IOC on our channel a number of times as well. ONGC is something that we've discussed ad nauseum too. How should one be really looking at the space from now on?
So actually the biggest joker in the pack in terms of news flow is the situation in the Middle East. And you were just referring to one particular news event that happened in Middle East about one of the frontline commanders coming into the line of fire. So, and that possibly has a huge overhang in terms of crude oil prices. We very recently saw sub $70 on Brent and NYMEX, but now we are at $74 on Brent and somewhere close to about $71 or thereabouts on NYMEX. So this flip-flop will depend upon what situation evolves in the Middle East. The second is with respect to the OPEC plus nation in terms of production numbers. And on the flip side, China going into a little bit of slowdown. Consumption is at a little bit lower level. In India, well, whenever we have elections, state elections, multiple state elections, there is always an attempt from the state government to reduce petrol and diesel prices and give a lollipop to all of us. One situation happened in Maharashtra some time back, wherein petrol and diesel prices were cut by per liter by some rupees. Now that crude oil prices are lower, there can be further attempts from the center or at state level to reduce petrol and diesel prices. That might put a smile on your, mine, and Shelf's and everyone's face, because our gasoline bill is going to go down in case if that price cut happens. What happens in that situation? Oil marketing companies may take a little bit of it given the price cuts. Oil exploration companies like GAILs and the ONGCs of the world, we are extremely positive. Very recently, government awarded certain natural reserves in terms of gas and crude oil in the KG D6 basin. ONGC managed to cross over 300 yesterday, but then again is sub 300 right now as we speak. 330 is the target over there. On GAIL, I think somewhere close to about 280 to 300 plus. I don't exactly remember what is the target, but we are positive on GAIL as well. But on oil marketing companies also we are positive. The only issue is petrol price and diesel price cuts, which may be a short to medium term overhang.
Gaurang, before we let you go, a very quick one on CDSL. We've seen the very sharp rally coming into Bombay Stock Exchange. And of course, it's one of those days there is that relative scale. इस सेक्टर का एक स्टॉक 20% बढ़ा है तो बाकियों को 10% तो बढ़ना ही चाहिए. With that background in mind, what is your view on CDSL? This of course is a post bonus adjustment of 1:1, the price that you see, counter up 2% today.
So Shail, there is also an added tailwind unconfirmed about NSE's IPO coming and hitting the street, which has possibly kept names like BSE and CDSL afloat, including MCX. We don't have clarity. These are just market gossips and unconfirmed news flows that you and me and Sakshi listen on the street. We will have to wait for clarity from NSE and the exchange authority as to when, how, and what valuation is it possible. But that has created a positive tailwind for these stocks. Having said that, like I was referring to the sector when you asked me a question about MCX. I think service provider CDSL, and we all know the number of accounts getting opened, depository accounts getting opened is reaching the next level in terms of records every month on month. And with the increased participation, I think this number is only going to grow. More the players, more the numbers, more the accounts, more positive for companies like CDSL, which get revenue as services that they provide. So it's a very strong company in terms of pure play. It is. There is no comparison. I think it's virtually like a monopoly if you take it because NSDL is not listed, only CDSL is listed. So it's a great company, and like I said, if Indian markets are going to do well, platform providers, service providers, and intermediaries will do well.
ओके गौरांग जी, इतनी खुशी का हम लोग करेंगे क्या? Hyundai का IPO, NSE का IPO, स्विगी का IPO, निफ्टी 26,000, 85,000 सेंसेक्स पर, मेरा तो वजन ही बढ़ता जा रहा है ये सब देख देख के।
नहीं, एक बात सुनिए शैल जी, एक बात मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको, हमें अब आदत डालनी चाहिए। हमें आदत नहीं है, हमें खुद पे भरोसा नहीं है कि हम ये कर सकते हैं। हमारी सबसे दुविधा, our biggest problem शैल is that we are not convinced ourselves. I think it is time because the reality is thrown at us. We have to convince ourselves, have that kind of confidence. We don't need borrowed brains from overseas to tell us what we are capable of and where we are going. Number one. Number two, I have made a very clear-cut point sometime back that liquidity is not a problem for our market, Shail bhai. There is enough liquidity. You see the number of IPOs that have hit the street not only this year but last year. See the kind of subscription, oversubscription, listing gains, and the follow-up after that. Absolutely no problem, and there was no dearth of liquidity in the secondary market. People were fearing that पैसे निकल जाएंगे secondary में से और जाएंगे primary में. ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. प्राइमरी मार्केट रिकॉर्ड आपको क्रिएट करके दे रहा है, सेकेंडरी मार्केट भी आपको रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट कर। दूसरी बात, यू सी द नंबर ऑफ ब्लॉक डील्स दैट हैव बीन हैपनिंग, large block deals, and they are not small ones. Shall you and me and Sakshi know about the kind of valuation of those block deals? Within a snap, all those deals get sold out. We are still continuing to where we are. So, I mean, नकदी की प्रॉब्लम है किधर? Where is the question of liquidity? There is enough liquidity. And I am quite glad, Shell, that these kind of new papers are coming into the market. Had it not been for that, I would be worried. Where will this liquidity go? It should not happen like some time back when a lot of liquidity was chasing very few stock, and then the valuation questions popped up and everything crashed left, right, and center. So we will survive this, and we will survive whatever has to come in the future.
Okay, wonderfully said. Well, Gaurang. Yes.
We'll thank you for this lovely 45 minutes that you've spent with us. We started with Hyundai, and we've sort of paused on the wonderful way ahead. Absolutely a great time to be on the large street, and especially for long-term watchers of equity such as you and Kiranji, and of course Sakshi has joined this brigade as well. All of us will be discussing same sets of questions 25 years from now, and at that point of time I'm sure the Nifty would be more than 5 lakhs, and the Sensex of course would be in 7-8 digits. With that hopes in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's thank Gaurang for all the wonderful thoughts that he has shared.
Thank you very much, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
Yours, Sakshi.
All right, and with that, we'll continue our conversation now with Kiranji. Another 20 minutes to go. We have a lot more to discuss with you, Kiranji. Within the F&O space, let's discuss some interesting stocks. We've discussed Nalco. You talked about it. The stock has shot up 3.6% higher. We discussed Power Grid, and now even Gujarat Narmada Valley Fertilizers is moving. Now, fertilizers and chemicals is another space that has seen some traction, but the street remains divided on it. Where do you see the momentum here within the fertilizers and the chemicals pack, at least for the short to medium term? What should investors' strategy be here?
So if you look at the fertilizer sector, definitely we are looking that almost every stocks are into the consolidation zone. But I will appreciate your efforts that you have marked exactly the fertilizer stock sector in the last 15 minutes has given a very good move. If you look at Chambal Fertilizer also from 498 500 level to 500 498 to 500 level, from that level to 510. The similar way GNFC is also trading at higher level. So definitely we are liking fertilizer stock, fertilizer sector also, and within the fertilizer sector, Chambal is our preferred pick, UPL is our preferred pick. So Chambal at current market price, anyone can go long, keep a strict stop loss below 500, and we are expecting price target of 530, 540 in upcoming time. And another stocks which we are liking is UPL. If you look at the UPL chart on daily price chart, it has retested its previous resistance level, and now it is trading above its 20 days moving average also. So 600 is the current market price. One can go long, keep a strict stop loss below 580, and if 580 is not breaking down, then we can expect price target of 650.
Okay, got it. Let's also see some other moving parts then within the markets. Financial services is picking up some traction as well. Within the financial services space, we do know that there are several other stocks within the NBFC space that has been garnering all the traction. And even today, some of those finance names are also moving up as well. So let's look at these stocks like the financing names IIFL, Repco Home Finance, Aavas Financiers. Let's look at the entire basket. This has been continuously in the thick of the trade, and let's get Kiranji to address for us what looks good for you, within this space right now, Kiranji.
Within which space we are discussing? Sorry.
The NBFC space, the finance space especially, and the broking space too.
So NBFC space definitely we have seen recently the stock price has given a very fantastic return, and even a brokerage firms we are looking that there are few stocks are giving a very good result. So in brokerage firm we are like JM Finance. If you look at the JM Finance daily price chart, yesterday also it has given a breakout from its previous consolidation zone. So any tips towards 130, 125 would be the great level to enter into the Geo Finance or even a current market price. One can go long. Keep a strict stop loss below 125. Looking at the monthly and weekly chart, we can expect price target of 555, 560 in upcoming time. So definitely JM Finance, it's preferred pick at current market price.
(9:45), ladies and gentlemen, the first half an hour of trade has lapsed. What is good is that the Nifty is trying to resurface in green territory. Bank Nifty is already in the green. Remember, it's the final expiry for September for Bank Nifty, 53,981, and you have a flat move on the Nifty 500. What are the stocks that have hit record highs today? This is a space which you need to watch because that is where money is moving in. We've discussed M&M and Power Grid. I want to mark Trent because from September 30th you will see Trent moving into the Nifty, as also BEL. These are the two stocks that will be a part of the Nifty 50 from September 30th. So keep these two in mind. Only Trent is at a record high, and you have Hindalco at 727 at a fresh peak. Lloyd Metals 878. This is a story that once Vineet Bojlinkar shared with us at 650 rupee levels. So keep this one an eye as well. And of course CG Power, SEAT from the auto ancillary space doing pretty well. M&M is now at a record high. So these are the stocks that are doing fantastically well. I'll request Kiranji to keep an eye out on Siemens for us. This is a counter that has started to move in the last 2-3 days. Your view on Siemens 1.8% higher?
So overall, as you mentioned, that last 2 days we are seeing that Siemens has given a breakout from its falling trend line. With that, there was a cluster resistance of moving average somewhere like 50 days, 100 days moving average, and stock price is comfortably crossing those cluster resistance also. Given the fact you can see the intraday charts also, where you can find some rounding bottom pattern is getting breakout. So at current market price, anyone can go long on Siemens. Keep strict stop loss below 7100. If 7100 is held, then we can expect price target of 7600 for this October series. So definitely one can go long on Siemens.
you can look at. You know, the sugar space is also garnering some traction across the space. There is some move. You know, all the stocks here are actually looking in a sweet spot. Awadh Sugar is 5% higher. Vishwaraj Sugar is 10% higher. Mavana Sugar 4% up. Dhampur up 3.5%. Ugar Sugar up 4%. Sakti Sugar 3% higher. Uttam Sugar, Triveni Engineering, all of them are up and about right now. Kiranji, anything do you sense that could be tracked for momentum here?
Yes, definitely. So there are two sugar stocks which we are liking. One is our sugar. If you look at our sugar, a rounding bottom pattern breakout was happened at somewhere around 700 level. From 700 to till now, it is 800 level. One can still go long on our sugar at current market price. Keep a strict stop loss below 790, 780, and we can expect price target of 850, 860 in upcoming time. Another stock, so for the disclaimer point of view, that's this stocks we already holding our in family portfolio, and we have also recommended to our client. That is Pony Sugar. A little bit illiquid stock, but looking at the weekly and a monthly chart, stock price is retested its previous breakout level. From that also, the stock price tested is 200 days moving average. Momentum indicators plotted a bullish divergence also. So Pony Sugars looks good at current market price. One can go long, keep a strict stop loss below 450, and we can expect price target of 550, 600 in upcoming time. So Pony Sugar is one more stock in sugar space which we are liking.
I'll request the PCR to kindly please fire the chart of Concord Biotech. And I don't know whether Kiranji remembers or not, but this is a stock that he had introduced to us in 6-7 months ago when the price was, I think, 1300, 1400 rupees as a quality buy. While you see the price today at 2200, remember the most recent high has been beyond 2600 rupees. So Kiranji, again, thank you so much. This was a one bagger, which means 100% appreciation in 7-8 months. I wonder whether you remember your recommendation or not. At least I do.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Now what now? यहाँ से कहाँ?
So as of now, if we are discussing only Concord Biotech, then looking at last 3 days price movement, we can certainly expect some profit booking, definitely. But looking at the momentum indicator and everything, there are chances we can expect some profit booking towards 2000 level. If 2000 level hold, then we can again expect some rebounds overall on this particular stock. So as of now, hold this stock with a strict stop loss of 2000.
Okay. The other stocks that are now getting into this violet uptick. Siemens we just marked 1.5% higher. Now the number is at 7203. Volume buzzers, ladies and gentlemen, those stocks where you see a very sharp move coming in along with volume. Praj Industries, this is a no-brainer as far as fundamentals are concerned. A rally in sugar has to reflect positively on Praj. 3% higher at 782. A sharp move coming in on this one. We've discussed National Aluminium and Hindustan Zinc. Let's look at IEX. Kiranji, stock is down 3% at a time when everything in the market is moving on the exchange and the AMC and the broking side, and power stocks are at record high. What is the entry level that you are looking at for IEX? Where do you think this sell-off will ease?
So looking at yesterday's sell-off, it was a very sharp. If you look at the monthly and the weekly chart, stock price has a resistance of 250, 240. Earlier also we have seen from that resistance level, stock price tested very much lower level. But as of now, looking at weekly chart, the next consolidation zone or next support level is somewhere around 190 or to 195. So I would suggest don't just look at the bottom fishing way as of now. Wait and watch and let stock to retest its 50 days or even 100 days moving average, which is somewhere between 190 to 200 level. And from that level, we can expect some reversal should happen. So as of now at current market price, I would not recommend to do any bottom fishing on IEX.
Okay. Got it. You know, one more stock that caught my attention in the broader markets is Precision Wires. Let's pull up that stock. It's moved up pretty strongly just a few moments back. I think 7 or 8 odd percent higher in trade right now. Kiranji, could you look at the charts of precision wires and tell us what's in the offing now?
If you look at the precision wires chart as of now on current market price, we already seen there are a lot of wire stocks has given a very good rally at current market price.
Yeah.
So definitely at precision wires, one can look at the daily price at the breakout from 195 to 200 level, which was a cluster resistance, and today the stock price is trading at 200 level, 210 level in fact. So any dips toward 200, it's a good buy on precision wire. Keep a strict stop loss below 190 and we can expect price target of 230, 250 for sure. So definitely one can go long on precision wires.
One can go long on precision wires. Okay, 7 minutes to go before we wind up the morning edition for the markets. It's still subdued on the Nifty level, about a 9-10 odd percent kind of a dip is what you see at around 25,930 odd levels. Sectorally, again, the action remains concentrated to the metals, which are like 0.9% higher, continuing its move from yesterday. Media stocks, small caps, financial services, autos, private banks, Nifty Bank as a whole, and infra stocks. These are the only sectors that are actually participating in the rally today. PSUs, of course, we do know that power grid is something that we've been tracking. Again, the metal story, and now the private banks, HDFC, Axis, they are now pulling up the markets higher, and which are in a recovery mode too. Let's see how much this sustains. Remember, HDFC Bank opened lower, but then now it's also about 0.7% higher in trade. Kiranji, within the private sector banks, where are you more positive on, say between ICICI, HDFC, Axis, Kotak? Where would you actually be placing your bets?
So Kotak would be the preferable bet at current market price. Reason being, rest other stocks are pricing moving ahead, but Kotak is retesting its earlier support also. So Kotak would be the great buy at current market price, or any dips towards 1880, 1870. Keep a strict stop loss below 1850. If 1850 is held, then we can expect Kotak to retest again at 1950, 2000 level for sure. So definitely one can look into the Kotak bank.
9:54, ladies and gentlemen. It's turning out to be a muted day as far as the Nifty is concerned. Flat as flat can be on T-1 ahead of its monthly expiry, which is tomorrow. But it's been a fantastic rally. I fall short of words trying to explain the momentum that is there in the market. The Nifty has hit a record high yesterday above 26,000 and has galloped about 6% in the month of September alone. Overall, year to date, which is the past 9 months, the index has appreciated 19%. You have seen a very strong rally coming today into power grid, which is at a record high. You have M&M at a record high. You have banks like Axis, ICICI coming into the fore and providing support to the Nifty. And of course, you have a very strong momentum continuing into mid-cap pharma stocks. Today's turn is for Piramal Pharma. There is a volume breakout, there is a price breakout, and there is a brokerage report which is backing all this as far as markets are concerned. In the top traded counters, it's Power Grid. 591 crores traded in the first 40-45 minutes of trade. Another stock, R Power. I normally don't mark this. Reliance Power. This is the top traded counter, up 2.7%, 2.2% higher at 41 rupees. 752 crores traded. You have M&M, Hindalco. Surprise, Sakshi. SH Kelkar is now in the list of most active counters. This is India's only perfume stock listed. So in a way, it's a monopoly item on the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange. Keep an eye out on this one. And of course, we've discussed stocks such as Prekwire, Precision Wire, which Sakshi just marked. It's a multi-bagger, 100 times over the last 20-25 years. Keep an eye out on this one as well. And of course, you have the sugar space adding that much needed sweetness on Dalal Street. Sakshi.
Right, 9:57. We will start winding up the show now, and we will thank you, Kiranji, for being with us on this very special edition to share with us all the thoughts and ideas. And we will continue to track all the stocks that you've marked for us. And going forward, we hope you have a fantastic time ahead. Till we see you next, back on Business Today Television. Green ticks on the Nifty, 25,941 now. Viewers, let's see whether this improves from here on. Hopefully so. Metals definitely shining the brightest, 1% higher now. Financial services, Nifty Bank overall now contributing, with private banks taking the front row. Within the top movers on the Nifty, you have HDFC and Axis both now inching higher. Power grid continues to be a 4% uptick, and a strong one at that. Hindalco, M&M are the other top movers, and also Tata Steel within the top Nifty 50 movers right now. Let's also look at the drags as well, as half of the Nifty stocks are still in the red. Tata Consumer Products is something that is actually slipping now, 1.6% lower. Tata Motors is also down by over 1%. Asian Paints, LTI, Mindtree, Britannia, Kotak Mahindra Bank are actually not performing in the trade today. They are dragging. On the F&O space, again, you have stocks like Nalco, that's up by 4%, Power Grid 3.7% higher, Gujarat Narmada Valley Fertilizers and Vedanta as among the top movers. Let's also look at some of the top drags on the F&O space. Dabur India is actually slipping, 3.9% lower. Vodafone Idea, again, another 3.8% lower in the F&O space. IEX is down by 3%. PNB, Oracle Financial Services, that's another one that's been actually slipping away as well. Although the PSE index is still holding up about 0.5% higher. Stocks like the metal counters which we have discussed, HAL continues to show some ticks higher. Remember, yesterday it was also up. There is another 0.5% of a move today. BEL is another one that's been moving. There are several other defense stocks also which are showing slow but some moves right here. Stocks like Mazagon, Dog, GRSC, they are also up in trade today, about 1 to 3% higher within this entire pack as well. So we'll start to wind up now, but do stay tuned with us, viewers, throughout the course of the day. There'll be very interesting conversations on the new IPOs, the new listings that are coming in, what are most of the experts really talking about it, and where will momentum continue to be seen in the markets as well. With that, we wrap up. Thank you so much for being with us on the morning edition. Thanks from both Shail and me, but do stay tuned. We'll be back shortly with newer shows.
Months after the Indian Prime Minister put the Lakshadweep Islands in everyone's to-do list, one particular island in this chain is all set to get a crucial facelift. Welcome to Minicoy, the southernmost